Yo, what is up, CFO gang? It's your boy Jay Tuck. Real Cowboys fans, stand up. Today's a celebration, Cowboys Nation. Today's a celebration, Cowboys Nation. Now, this season, let's just be honest, it wasn't much to celebrate, right? We got George Pickens in the offseason. We all said hooray, right? And then the middle of the season before the trade deadline, we traded for Quentin Williams. We got to celebrate that. I remember the two games back to back, right? I was in the building in attendance versus the Eagles versus the Chiefs. We got to cheer, but for the most part, it wasn't much to celebrate. But Cowboys Nation, today is a day of celebration. We're definitely going to talk about it. Salute to everyone who's watching across all the platforms. My dog Sin City in the building. What's going on with you, my dog? Trev, what's going on with you, dog? Happy New Year. Hopefully you up to have a good one. David, what's going on with you, dog, man? My dog said, come on, Tuck, stop stalling. I've been working, man. You know, I was working. If you haven't seen it already, you know, I've dropped the Ruben Bain film session on the channel, you know what I'm saying, doing some graphics. You had the Eberflus news drop, man. So I've been on different radio segments. I've been working. I've been working, man. I've been working. My dog Sensei says, bro, I'm grateful for the invite, King. Yeah, absolutely, bro. So hit me. Wherever, bro, like I said, you're more than happy to pull up. I'll be in Vegas on Friday, and then Friday night we're going out. Like I said, I got a table for 12. You know what I'm saying? I got a table for 12. It's just me and my wife as of right now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's just you know, I got a table for 12, so I'm not gonna be able to drink 4 to 5 bottles. So, you know, if you want to pull up, bro, just hit me. You're more than welcome to pull up and party. I think Pauly D is DJing out there in Vegas. We're going to have a fun time for your boy's birthday, man. I'm getting old, man. Got a birthday coming up. We got a lot to talk about, man. So if you haven't already, if you're on TikTok, hit that follow button. Do what y'all do, man. Instagram, I see y'all. My dog Vada Fly, you know what I'm saying, over there talking. My dog Tony the Closer over there talking to y'all packed up. You know what I'm saying? Our season was bad. But y'all season, you know what I'm saying? The Giants and Commanders, y'all went from top 10 not mentioned. Can you imagine going from the NFC Championship game last year to being the top 5 pick? Both offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator fired. Commanders got bigger issues. It's midnight. It's midnight for y'all, Cinderella. Which I told y'all, but we're not worried about the Commanders. Salute to my dog, Tony the Closer, and also my dog, Vada Fly, man, one of the legends in battle rap media, man. He just happens to be a Giants fan. But also, I want to appreciate and say thank you to everyone who, Jersey Shore Pauly D, man. Jersey Shore Pauly D going to be DJing, I think, right? So to everyone who pulled up to the live yesterday, man, we had thousands of people pull up and like, yo, Tuck, you got to go live more. You got to go live more. We miss Tuck going live all the time. Be honest with you guys, man. I just been extremely busy, and it was just easier for me to post a quick video and get on about my day. But I really enjoy just talking to the community, talking to Cowboys fans, not just Cowboys fans, but passionate NFL fans. And I feel like when I do it on my platforms, right, it's more like a gated community, right? Because we can have intimate conversations. Like JV, you could ask me a question, I can answer, right? TikTok, y'all can ask me a question, I can answer. Instagram, y'all can ask me a question, I can answer. And there's not a lot of riffraff, right? On X, Twitter, wherever y'all want to call it, you ask me one question, there's going to be 30,000 people in there, all just yada, 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 disrupting the flow, right? So yesterday was kind of cool. We went for 2 hours live stream across the platforms. We're going to do that a lot more often, especially this draft season. So y'all appreciate that. I appreciate you guys, and we're going to continue to go up in 2026. Also woke up this morning to some credible news, y'all. Got an email. Your boy's going back to the Super Bowl, man. Your boy is going back to the Super Bowl, so I will be out there in Santa Clara covering the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know who's going to be there, right? But I will be there in attendance. And this year, they're actually doing the Pro Bowl and the Super Bowl. So I'm going back. This will be my 4th Super Bowl coverage, right? But this one I'm most proud of, right? So what's the difference, Tuck? Other Super Bowls, man, I've been through the station. For you guys know, I've been on Kansas City ESPN Radio, also Fox Sports. So typically it was the station approval, okay? Last year, I went through Des Bryant and his team and Fanatics, and that's how I was able to get to the Super Bowl, okay? This year, it's CFO Gang, right? It is CFO Gang on the credentials, CFO Sports. So the NFL is now witnessing what we're doing in our community, in our space, and saying, we need you a part of it, right? So you guys remember we were doing that live show where I got the email and they wanted me to come to the combine. So the combine, the draft, now the Super Bowl officially, it's all us, man. And I got to thank each and every one of you guys because you guys have been a part of my journey. None of this happens without you guys, all your support, all your subscribing, the shares, the likes, all that just for rocking with me, man. So CFO Gang, we are officially Super Bowl bound. So we're going to get a lot of great content. Hopefully our players show up at the Pro Bowl. Like Dak, I think GP will be at the Pro Bowl. So I could probably get some exclusive stuff with GP. Dak is kind of older. Will he show up for the Pro Bowl, right? But it'll be some interesting players out there, whether it's Cowboys, it's NFL or not, right? It's always a good opportunity to be out there. People already invite me to Super Bowl parties and stuff. You know what I'm saying? As much fun as people think I am, I'm kind of boring. Like when I go to the Super Bowl and stuff, man, I do the media stuff, I get my content, I do my interviews, and I'm back in my room, you know what I'm saying? Eating candy and, playing Candy Crush and gambling and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I really don't be amongst the parties and the riffraff, but a few people's like, yo, Tuck, you missed the party last year. You got to come this year. So we'll see. We shall see. But I'm definitely going to take you guys with me as we go along to the Super Bowl. But man, let's get to it. Matt Eberflus gone, right? And you guys know how vocal I've been about Jerry Jones, right? You know what I'm saying? Jerry Jones, my brother saying boring. You know it ain't boring. I ain't taking my brother to the Super Bowl. He'll slow me down. You know what I'm saying? He'll slow me down. But you guys know how vocal I've been about Jerry Jones in this front office. But I have to give them credit, okay? First, I want to give them credit for this. Listening to my show last night. You know what I'm saying? Jerry Jones, I know you keep eyes on me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to lie. What up, Jerry? What up, Steven? All right, what up, Will? They didn't do what I thought they would possibly do, which is delay the inevitable, right? And drag this Matt Eberflus thing out for 1 to 2 weeks before they form a decision. They sat back and said, all right, bro, you got to go, right? You got to go. You got to go. You got to go, right? They made the decision this morning to let Matt Eberflus go, which was a smart decision because as you see, you got Harbaugh getting fired. Now, he's probably going to come to the NFC East, right? I'm saying the Giants are already reaching out to Harbaugh to come to the NFC East. I'm like, all right, damn it, right? Raheem Morris, it's going to be a tricky situation, right? Because now Dan Quinn just let go of Joe Witt, which is his homeboy, but him and Morris are like this from their time in Atlanta. So that might just be an automatic he comes to Washington. So we got to make moves, right? Who knows what happens with Flores? Could he then go to, Baltimore? There's also talks about Mike Tomlin could be let go if they lose. Matt LaFleur could possibly be let go in Green Bay. You're seeing what's open up in Cleveland. You have the Vegas job. And trust me, if there's any place in the world I would like to coach, I would love to coach the Vegas Raiders. So there's opportunities. But by moving on from Matt Eberflus now, today, we can get ahead of the curve, right? And I do want to give Jerry some credit, right? Because a lot of people was like, yo, Tuck, Matt Eberflus with the Jerry Jones hire, he sucks. Yes, he did. He absolutely was horrible. Right? He's horrific, right? But I do want to be fair to Jerry Jones, because think about it this time last year. Jerry was under the impression that Mike McCarthy was returning. So he had Mike McCarthy trapped in a closet like R. Kelly, right? Trying to work out this deal, okay? And eventually there's some back and forth conversations. And eventually Mike McCarthy said, nah, I'm good. All right. So then Mike McCarthy dips. So then he reaches out to Mike Zimmer. It's like, okay, well, we're trying to find a new head coach. We want to keep you as a defensive coordinator, Zim. You did a good job with our defense. We're familiar with who you are. The players are rallying around you. Zim said, nah, I'm good. All right. So then you lose Mike McCarthy. You lose Mike Zimmer. Jerry Jones is scrambling, right? Yo, Kellen Moore, bro, my dog, I apologize for letting you go, right? But I always wanted you to be the head. Kellen says, no, I'm good. So you're scrambling, right? You're scrambling last minute to find a head coach and offensive coordinator. And at that time of the season, or at the time of the offseason, right, you really just had Brian Schottenheimer. I know some people were talking about Rex Ryan, which I would be completely done if they hire Rex Ryan. They're talking about Ron Rivera. The cupboard was bare. So you were able to hire Brian Schottenheimer. And then when you look at the defensive coordinator pool, it was dry. You had Matt Eberflus, a guy who you're familiar with. He's been in Dallas, former head coach to kind of help mentor your brand new first-time head coach, okay? Defensive guy, linebacker coach, right? So you bring him in thinking, okay, he can still work with this talent. Now, you move on from DeMarcus Lawrence, you move on from Micah Parsons, and things are a lot different. But I do want to give Jerry some grace because he was scrambling last minute. And I've done it numerous times, Jerry. I remember one year my wife was like, she don't want to do nothing for Valentine's Day. She don't want to do nothing for Valentine's Day, right? I said, cool. She gives me a call around noon on Valentine's Day and is like, yo, what are we doing tonight? I said, I thought you didn't want to do anything. She's like, well, I thought at least we would go out for dinner. God damn. Right. So I'm scrambling. Where can I find reservations on Valentine's Day at 1 p.m. for tonight? Right. So I found this little Japanese restaurant. Right. We sit down, we order our food, nice little ambiance. Right. But it's the real Japanese sushi. Not like a California roll or a sushi roll or a Vegas roll or like it's the real sushi. And when they put that on the table, me and my wife said, nah. Right. So now we leave the restaurant. I'm scrambling. So we end up finding this other spot and it was super expensive because there's no other options. Right. So I feel like that's where Jerry Jones was in. Right. He just didn't plan properly. He was reactionary based off of what happened with Mike McCarthy and Mike Zimmer. He was scrambling. Defensive coaches, his cover was bare. Matt Eberflus, a guy you're familiar with, come on into Dallas, right? But of course, it blew up, right? It historically blew up and it was bad. And Jerry Jones had no choice. My dude Nick says that's the best sushi. I don't know, bro. I need like a tempura roll, a Vegas roll, a California roll. I'm not eating no real Japanese sushi. I was just like, I'm cool on that, bro. I don't know what that is, right? Now, a lot of people say, yo, that's the best sushi, but I'm cool on it, right? So it was just a massive failure when it came to Matt Eberflus, right? So the Dallas Cowboys made the smart decision by moving on and not delaying the inevitable, right? We knew it was going to happen. Do it now, Jerry. Now we can really hunt for a defensive coordinator. Now, here's where I turn things over to you guys, all right? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all right? What type of defensive coordinator are you guys looking for? Right? Because it's going to vary. Price level will vary too. But what kind of defensive coordinator are you guys looking for? Right? A lot of people think about 4-3, 3-4. That's pretty much a wash in today's NFL. A lot of these defenses are multiple fronts, right? You have 5-man fronts, which is what Eberflus kind of ran, right? You'll have some, 3 down linemen and 2 stand-up ends. So there's a lot of 3-4, 4-3 mixtures in a lot of NFL defenses today, right? So don't get caught up in that. But what is the qualities that you guys are looking for when it comes to a defensive coordinator? Because that's going to be a very important piece. My dog JV says, "Oh yeah, I see what the Titans are doing." So you could have been desperate enough to be interviewing Jason Garrett. All right, so look, it could be a whole lot worse. Young and hungry, up and coming position coach, right? So JV, you're looking for a guy who's kind of like the Clayton Adams mode, right? Just a under the radar or maybe an emerging guy, young guy who's innovative. Do you think that will be something that Jerry would do, right? Do you think that Jerry would go get, like my guy, right? Jeff Howard, the DB coach for Seattle, 0 experience at a DC, right? But has a name, starting to emerge, has shown improve. Would you think that that would be the guy, right? I'm not sure. Dominique says none of that bend but don't break type defense, right? You want it stout. You want it stout. At least some playoff experience, DC. Yeah. Brian Flores, but he's going to be expensive. Brian Flores, he's going to get head coaching opportunities now, right? He would have to. Yeah, I remember what Eric Bieniemy was doing when Eric Bieniemy was just bombing interviews. When the Chiefs offense was, what I'm saying? He would have to do that, but I highly doubt he does. But also remember, Brian Flores has a lawsuit pending with the league right now for discrimination. The league might say, "Hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? Hey, somebody hire bro real quick. Somebody hire bro real quick and get him off our ass." You know what I'm saying? So it could be a situation where he gets a head coaching job. A dog angry says, "I want aggression to match the mantra." Mentality. And that's going to have players. It's going to be a personnel, but also your coaching staff, right? So I can see what you're saying there. Jonathan Gannon. Me personally, I'm not a Jonathan Gannon fan, right? I know we have some Eagles fans who work, watch this channel religiously. Appreciate y'all. As long as y'all not hating, we don't mind. But Jonathan Gannon, when he was in Philly, it wasn't like he was super creative. He just had some dogs, right? You look at his defense out there in Arizona, it's just, nothing to be too excited about, So I don't know if Jonathan Gannon would be it for me. I personally don't feel that hire. It could be, a relationship, Clayton Adams, because he was out there in Arizona, and Jonathan Gannon. Me personally, it's man to me. If we hire Jonathan Gannon, I'm going to be like, all right, bro, let's see, right? But it's not going to be like, okay, let's go. All right. Raheem Morris ain't a bad hire, but like I said, bro, with the Washington Commanders moving on from Joe Witt, that opens up the opportunity for him to rejoin Dan Quinn, right? And then it looks like he already has multiple head coaching job interviews as well, right? So if you toss out Gannon as a name, right? Raheem Morris is another name. Brian Flores as another name. Right? There is another guy I was going to bring that up too, Angry. I don't think they would do that, especially how bad they perform. But don't toss out Schwartz, man. Keep an eye on Schwartz. That gives you a guy, Jim Schwartz. That gives you a guy, he has a name. He's been around the league, right? He's seen it all. He's been a head coach, right? But he has some of those things that I think that will give Jerry comfort, right? I think that would give Jerry comfort knowing I'm getting a guy that has some lineage in the NFL. He has a name. He's you know what I'm saying? He's seen a lot, right? He does seem to be about a player's coach, right? Spags in Kansas City, they're not getting rid of Spags. They love Spags here in Kansas City. But yeah, he kind of has that cachet, right? So I think that Jim Schwartz would be your season comfort hire that can turn the corner, right? He can be your Mike Zimmer-esque hire, which I would not be opposed to Schwartz, man. Now, there is this thing that a lot of people think that a lot of people think that, Jim Schwartz does a lot of blitzing and disguising and all these different things, right? That's not him, but he does play a lot of man. So he does like grits. He does have some fire, right? And that Cleveland defense has played well. Now, of course, a lot of defense is going to look well when you have Myles Garrett, right? But Jim Schwartz, I would be okay with the hire. So if you gave me a wish list, Brian Flores, Raheem Morris, Jim Schwartz, but if you told me, Tuck, let's earmuffs TikTok, put money on who you think would be the favorite, I would probably say Jim Schwartz. I would probably say Schwartz would be my favorite that I would to be the next DC in Dallas. Now, a long shot, and I will throw up in my mouth if they do it. And Shoddy, I will put the targets on your back. If they did go get Rex Ryan, nah, bro. Nah. Ain't gonna do it. Now, the question I often get asked, bro, hey, man, no, I get that you got some time together in New York and this and that, but absolutely not, man. No, I ain't doing that. Absolutely not. He hasn't coached defense in 10 years, right? That's just like the Titans interviewing Jason Garrett, all right? Wink Martindale, the one thing about Wink, he gonna send the house. You know what I'm saying? Wink is gonna send the house. Got my dog CFT in the building, my dog Rome in the building. We cover 3 tomorrow at 7 Central. I'm going to my sauna and cold plunge therapy tomorrow, so we're gonna be a little bit delayed. You know what I'm saying? But better not get Rex, bro. Hell nah. I ain't doing no Rex. Matt Patricia, can you pull him from Ohio State? It's hard because that college money is different. You know what I'm saying? That college money is different. Knowing what I know now, if I wanted to get in coaching, I would go be a college coach because you can just bag up in college. You can get a head coaching job, get fired, that school pay you all the way out, and then you got to get paid from your new school. College coaches is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? College coaching is where it's at right now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Matt Patricia would come back to be a DC from Ohio State to Dallas. You know? Yeah, them college coaches get paid. You know what I'm saying? Greg Williams, nah. I really haven't looked at the college ranks, to be honest with you guys. I don't think the Cowboys would do that as far as DC is concerned. Now, there could be some positional coaches that come from the college range, kind of like we did Connor Riley and Junior Adams from Oregon, right? So I feel like we could possibly do that, pull some other, right, from the college ranks. And honestly, I think that's a good thing, right? I think that having college positional coaches intertwine with veterans and tenured guys, it gives you some flavor, right? No one ever asked George Pickens about this, and this would probably be a question I would ask him at the Pro Bowl, right? It was like, yo, what was your relationship like with Junior Adams? Well, how did he help you excel? Right? People don't ask those questions, Still to today, no one's asked anybody one question about Ken Dorsey, our passing game coordinator. You ask media members, they have no idea that Ken Dorsey doesn't even exist, right? But I want to ask those types of questions. I feel like Connor Riley was a big adjustment, a big win for our offensive line. I feel like Junior Adams was a big win for our wide receiver position group, right? So there might be some college DB coaches out there or some college linebacker coaches out there that can talk the language and communicate and relate better with this Dallas Cowboys personnel, whoever that might be, right? Al Harris, right? That's the one we all want, or not say want, but we appreciate. Here's my thing with Al Harris, right? One, who was Al Harris like this with? Y'all remember? Y'all remember who he played for? Al Harris was he was like that with Diggs. But Al Harris was a Mike McCarthy guy. Right? He played for Green Bay, right? He even asked Dez Bryant, who was his toughest corner he ever faced. He talked about Al Harris, right? So Al Harris was a Mike McCarthy guy, all right? Then secondly, I don't want to say the name because I know how people get in their feelings because he was the worst criminal we ever had in Dallas for whatever reason. He threw a cat in a burning building, according to some Cowboys fans, all right? But yes, him and were like this too as well, all right? Third, when there was an opportunity last year to interview for a defensive coordinator position or maybe even a head coach position, they ain't even look at you. The Cowboys ain't even Rooney Rule Al Harris. They ain't even Rooney Rule him. You know what I'm saying? They could at least just Rooney ruled him and gave him a cool little interview. They didn't even Rooney Rule Al Harris. So it's hard for me to see, okay, you did Mike McCarthy low-key dirty because Al Harris is probably around for that, right? You let my dog go. You know what I'm saying? You didn't even give me the little sympathy Rooney Rule interview. Now I go to Chicago, we in the playoffs, and I turn Nashawn Wright from water into wine. Now you want me to be the DC? I think I'm cool. I think I'm cool with that. I think I'm cool. I'm cool. So would I like Al Harris the DC? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because it's different from being a DB coach, right? To being fully in charge. But I can guarantee you this. My defense wouldn't quit on Al Harris. I can guarantee you that. Right? The defense that we saw this past year, that would not be our defense under Al Harris, no matter how green he is as a defensive play caller. Right? So for me personally, I just don't see a situation where Al Harris would return to Dallas to be the DC. I really don't. I just really don't. Kelvin Shepard, I'm not familiar with who that is. Let me know who that is. But yeah, Trev, I don't see that being the case, right? Now, I was just on the NFC East Roundtable show. Shoot to my NFC East counterparts, KB, Rio, and Simone, superstar Simone. And you were talking about Harbaugh getting released. And I gave this story of high school Tuck, man. It was back in high school. And, I was thinking about from the senior, man, the hardest girl in our school, her name was Lorena, right? But we all just knew Lorena was a fantasy. You'll never have the chance for Lorena. She was just gorgeous, still, what I'm saying? But, it was just up there, right? And so I had already had a prom date for my senior prom. Well, come to find out, 2 weeks before prom, Arena and her boyfriend break up. Oh, on the market, right? So me, being myself, shoot, and asked, did she have a prom date? And she said, no, would I want to go? And I said, hell yeah, even though I already had a date. So I politely told my date, hey, man, what you about to do? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm going. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure what you about to do. You should get a group of friends together. Have a good time, right? Prom is a memorable moment, right? You go enjoy yourself, right? And be safe. I'm going over here because stuff like this doesn't come around except once in a lifetime. And there I was, your senior prom king, walking in with the baddest girl in the school. Brian Schottenheimer, I like you, bro. I really do. I love your story. Right? I love that adversity that you done. I love how you care about your players. I like the energy that you bring. What are you about to get into, bro? What are you about to get into? If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm calling up Harbaugh right now. You know what I'm saying? I bounce. I mean, but I had no choice, bro. Like, this was the top in the school. You know what I'm saying? And I had a golden opportunity to strike. I'm not missing that opportunity, you know what I'm saying? For 6-7s. Well, we're going for the win, bro. Jerry, like I said, I like Shotty, right? You can bring in Harbaugh and let Shotty just be your OC, and we can get back rocking and rolling. I'm definitely picking up the phone and seeing what it's hitting for. You better do that before the Giants do it. And especially if the rumors are true, possibly about Mike Tomlin being let go in Pittsburgh, I'm going Kevin Gates. I got 2 phones, one for Harbaugh and one for the low. I'm picking up both them phones, man. I'm picking up both those phones. It says, exactly, but will he come to Dallas and deal with Jerry? No, but I'm still going to try to find out. I am still going to try to find out just in case. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not going to let Harbaugh walk around the NFL free and just say, I ain't pick up the phone. You know what I'm saying? And I had a hell of a prom night. You know what I'm saying? I should ask my mama and get my prom picture. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to show y'all my prom picture. And y'all were like, yeah, Tuck, you did that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Legendary. You know? Hey, Jerry, don't let Shotty prevent you from picking up the phone and just seeing. All right? Shotty be cool. He be all right. You know what I'm saying? He'll find something to do. He a good guy. You know? So, yeah, I'm saying you better pick up the phone before the Giants do, or he's going to be in the NFC East. He's going to have that top 5 pick. What do they have right now? Did they lose the 5th pick? They have 5th, right. You're going to have Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, Cam Scatterbo, that defense, Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence. Dog. No, I'm not dealing with that, man. I'm not dealing with that, man. You gotta Shotty with bounce, bro. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. I will write you a letter of recommendation. I'll write you a letter of recommendation, man. Let me know. You want to be on TV? You know what I'm saying? You be on TV. Shotty be great on TV. But hey, man, if Harbaugh and Tomlin comes available, I'm picking up the phone. But back to defensive coordinators. If I have to go with a guy, I think it's going to be Schwartz. Feels like it to me. Unless there's just a blind shot in the dark defensive coordinator. But when I'm looking for a defensive coordinator, y'all, I'm looking for a defensive coordinator who can do some of the things that you guys mentioned, right? I want to have this team play with some attitude. I just didn't see them play with confidence this year. I didn't see them play with no swagger. It's like it was too much confusion going on to me. Right? I mean, how many times? Yeah, bro. Keep it, bro. That's light. Keep it, bro. Take it with you. Merry Christmas. Keep the salary, Shotty. Don't even worry about it, bro. You good. It's on me. Appreciate you. But we need you upstairs, though. You know, I need you upstairs just for a little bit, right? But I just didn't see this team play with any identity, right? Go back to those Dan Quinn years. Our defense was the face of the Dallas Cowboys, right? I know we had Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb, but when you had Jaron Curse and Micah Parsons and D. Law and, you know, Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs, and we didn't have defensive tackles, right? But, you know, you kind of had LVE, and like our defense was the identity of our team. They played with some toughness. They played with some attitude. They played with some swagger. You know, it was just different. And I want to get back to that. I just feel like there was this, and even Kenny Clark, he came out and said a quote. They asked him, Kenny Clark is brand new. They said, what do we need to get this defense over the hump to get to a championship level? Kenny Clark's response was, we need more dogs. Whoa. Kenny Clark said, we need more dogs. Kenny Clark said the Cowboys need some more dogs on defense. Well, Kenny Clark, we let go our biggest dog for you, bro. So you kind of have to be that dog, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? We let go the big dog for you, so we need you to bark a little bit louder. But Kenny Clark said we need more dogs, and I agree. I just didn't see who was the guy offensively you should be afraid of when it comes to this Cowboys defense. I don't have to worry about Deron Bland and Trayvon Diggs intercepting nothing because you're giving me 13 yards of cushion anyways. So that's out the window. I don't even have to worry about my quarterback getting pressure because y'all can't get to him. Besides, Jadeveon Clowney decided to turn up the very last game of the season. Now, he played well, but he turned up this Giants game. All right? Too late. A little bit too late for me, bro. I appreciate what you did. I know what you were doing, getting your price tag up, getting your bag out there, but it was a little too late to apologize. So there was nothing to really be afraid of when you face this Dallas Cowboys defense. I mean, you had Quinnen Williams for a little bit, but he's right there. You know what I'm saying? I can neutralize that for a little bit, right? The whole thing about Quinnen Williams is he's supposed to open up opportunities for everybody else. Linebackers couldn't turn and run. Safeties were often confused, couldn't go sideline to sideline, especially at the rooftop. There was nothing to really be afraid of when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys defense. We got to get back to that, right? We got to get back to that. And how do you do that? Personnel, and also have a defensive coordinator that's going to establish an identity, all right? You have to finally, in Dallas, get some continuity on one side of the ball. This is going to be our fourth defensive coordinator in 4 years. Dan Quinn, bounce. Zimmer, bounce. Eberflus, bounce. New guy. We'll see. Now, I'm going to toss out a caveat, Cowboys Nation, and y'all let me know how y'all feel. What if it's White Cotton? How y'all feel? If it's white cotton, how are you feeling? We announced our defensive coordinator is going to be White Cotton, our defensive line coach, for those guys who don't know, right? He was tied to Quentin Williams. So how would you feel about that? I see Nas. Nah, hell nah. I wouldn't be mad if we got a coordinator also let Shotty focus on the red zone in the second half. Yeah. And they get the one that has no affiliation with the Cowboys. I agree. Right. I do agree with that. Is that in Hernandez? I can't see that on my phone. It's small. But yeah, I do think I want outside guys, right? I'm tired of here's a guy who, he used to be here for a little bit, and then we know him. Like, I just want someone who's like come from the outside that has some experience around the league and be like, y'all do this? No, it's not what we do. Right? A fresh perspective. A fresh perspective. Whatever happened to J. Ron Curse after he was out of Dallas, I think he got married and dipped. I think he got married. I remember the players were at a wedding. I think it was his wedding. Yeah, I think J. Ron got married and dipped. So to J. Ron, man. He's one of my favorites, man. But yeah, I agree. I do want someone with no ties. Right? With no ties to the Dallas Cowboys, right? I don't want a guy who's been here before and then left and then and yeah, new car smell. New car smell. New car smell. Right? I think that's extremely important. Extremely important, right? So for me, like I said, Schwartz makes the most sense. But love Brian Flores, but I think the price tag is too high. The market is too high. But here's why I said the Cowboys at least have to do. For me, Jerry, if you're watching, and I know you are, at least attempt Brian Flores. At least interview him. Don't just give up, right? Do like me for the prom, baby. Just toss a Hail Mary. You never know what might happen. You never know what might happen. Just ask. Right? Sit down, Brian Flores. Walk him through the start in Frisco. Talk about the things that you guys can do together. Talk about the vision. And just try, right? It's kind of like a recruiting trip, right? You're not going to pull every recruit you bring to Alabama or Tallahassee, right? But you still want to try to go for the 5 stars, even though they got Alabama, Oregon, Georgia, Texas visits on their list. You still at least got to try, Jerry. Try with Brian Flores. Go try to beat Dan Quinn to the punch when it comes to Raheem Morris. Right? This is where I want Jerry to do something that he prides himself on so heavily. Sell. You pride yourself so heavily on being a successful billion-dollar businessman, oil, right? All this. Sell some of these coaches of coming to Dallas, right? The old trick, right? Sell me this pen for all my people who have been in sales, right? Jerry, sell somebody. Go close Brian Flores. Go close Raheem Morris and say, nah, I know that you have a relationship with Dan Quinn. I know, but what we're building here in Dallas is different. And this is going to be all yours. Right? Sell them. Don't just say, hey, man, he going to ask for too much money, so I ain't even going to try. Hey, man, he already friends with Dan Quinn, so I'm not even going to try. You know what I'm saying? Stop going for the desperate, right? We always like some coach who's been fired and tired, and they're saying, oh, yeah, oh, sure, I'll do it. I ain't got nothing else to do. Matt Eberflus has shit else to do. Wasn't a bunch of people, right? Harbaugh just got fired probably about 3 hours ago. The Giants are already requesting to speak to him. Already. Teams are already requesting to speak to Harbaugh. Nobody requesting to speak to Matt. when he got let go. I haven't been online. Have y'all seen any Cowboys players send a tweet, a TikTok, an Instagram post saying, hey, man, appreciate you, coach? When Dan Quinn left, there was a bunch of tweets about Dan Quinn from Cowboys players. When Mike Zimmer left, there was a bunch of tweets about Mike Zimmer from Cowboys players. Eberflus left, I ain't seen nothing. I ain't seen nothing. I saw Jake Ferguson do some Abercrombie ads. I haven't seen anything. They're saying 7 teams have already requested to speak to Harbaugh. 7. And bro got fired like 30 minutes ago. Like 30 minutes ago. Right? Go get in that pool. You know, like I said, Jerry, I'm picking up the phone just to talk to him. Right? It's an opportunity of a lifetime. Right? I know the Ravens haven't gotten to the ultimate level, right? And y'all should talk about Lamar Jackson like you talk about Dak Prescott, but that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. All right? But opportunities like this don't come around often because even though the Ravens haven't got to the ultimate level, they've always been consistent. When you play versus the Ravens, you know you got to lace them up. You got to lace them up. You got to lace them up. It's going to be a tough. Then we play them next year. I think so. In Baltimore, maybe. You know you got to lace them up when you got to play against the Ravens, right? They're always going to be at least competitive, okay? So pick up the phone. But, Gary, it's time for you to sell some of these coaches in wanting to come to Dallas. Don't just go to bro got fired. No one was reaching out. We knew him from the 90s, and so we brought him back. Nah. Go for the big prom dates, Jerry. All they can do is say no. But that will at least show me that you tried, right? Cowboys dodged a huge bullet talking about the Ravens, right? We owe Harbaugh a favor. We owe Harbaugh a lot, Cowboys Nation, because when we called to inquire to trade for Rashad Bateman, who had like 380 receiving yards or something like that this year, Harbaugh hung up the phone on us and said, nah. For that reason, I am forever indebted to you, Harbaugh. Ever indebted to the Baltimore Ravens organization for hanging up the phone when we tried to trade for Rashad Bateman. If there's anything I can do to ever help you guys, let me know. It's at home. So we play them at home. Ah, been there, done that. I've been there and done that and got ran all over by Derrick Henry. I think I'll pass on that one. We're forever indebted to the Baltimore Ravens for hanging up on us when we inquired to trade for Rashad Bateman. And instead, we had to go get George effing Pickens. But I think that Schwartz, once again, that was my league candidate that I would probably say it makes sense in Dallas, right? But we have some opportunity. We have some opportunity to get better, right? And we'll talk about the personnel here in a second, but there's some opportunity for Dallas Cowboys to get better. It's not like we're a bad team, y'all. If our defense could have just been bad, we would be making a push right now. If we just needed a bad defense, I just need a bad one, right? Our defense, it just hurt me to watch our defense on the field. You guys ever play like Madden franchise? And you're playing on offense or like superstar mode and defense comes on the field and you press a little button, little green charts go and you're just hoping for a stop. That's how it felt every time our defense was on the field. It felt like I pressed the sim button and it was just like, oh, 7 points. Okay, it's tied. Now offense got to go back on the field, right? Score a touchdown and it's, dang, 14-14. Offense got to go back on the field. Like, It was just like every time you watch the Dallas Cowboys defense, it was like simming and is hoping for a field goal. Woo! Oh my God. Field goal. Okay, we got a chance now. You know, it wasn't like, oh, we can get a stop. Even watching the game Sunday versus Jackson Dart is how I knew we was going to beat the Giants. I know we can't stop Jackson Dart. Yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Angry. We've all been there. Just press the simo. That's how it felt. 7 points. You're like, bro. So you feel like when you get the controller and your superstar mode player goes back on the field, you have to score, because if you do not, it's going to. Now it's 14-0. Bro said, no kidding. Gave me Madden simulation vibes. It did. It did. You know what I'm saying? When you simulate on Madden, you just be happy to see a 3, right? Or a missed field goal. See a little red bar at the end. Like, oh my God, okay. Now my superstar can go back on the field and cook. It's a good idea for a TikTok video. Yeah, go ahead and do that, Angry. That's exactly what it was like, man. It's just, I just want to, just go do it on Madden right now. I bet our defense, I ain't playing Madden in a minute. I bet our defense is probably like a 42 overall. 42 overall. Yeah, bro, just pray for 3. Oh, they set up for field goal. Thank God. 4th and 2. They're kicking the field goal. Oh, my God. Thank you. Thank you, bro. Don't go for it, because you're going to get it if you went for it. Thank you. Just kick the field goal, please. Thank you. Let Dak get it back. You know? It was horrible, right? Even if we just had a marginally average defense, we would be talking about playoffs and possibility of making a run, right? Our offense, I feel like it was strong enough to do it. I just knew our defense, we got 2 games of it, right? That little November rain, you know what I'm saying? A little November run that we had from Vegas to Philly to Chiefs. You know, what did Shannon Sharp said? Hey, when I laid my head on the pillow, just know I gave it everything I had. They gave it everything they had in that 3-game span. That was it. And I'm appreciative of it because I was there, right? But it's uncalled for. Had the worst defense. Worst defense, Warren. I know I did that film session earlier on, how to fix the Dallas Cowboys defense. It was at the point I was like, there was no need for no more film. There's nothing else I could do. It was just broken. So how do we fix it? 1, we get an offensive coordinator that has some moxie, some toughness, some connection with players, right? Let him build a new staff, right? Sprinkle it in with NBA or NFL veterans and leaders, but also some college ranks. I think that will work as well, right? And really have a centric focus on what do you want this defense to look like, right? Brian Schottenheimer, if you have to get involved, then get involved and say, I want my defense to look like this. I want them to be fast at the line of scrimmage, right? I want them to be explosive downhill tacklers. I want aggressive, big physical man coverage corners, all right? Notate what you want the identity of your defense to look like, then go grocery shopping. Right. Then you go grocery shopping and free agency and draft and this and that, right? And then you try to put this thing together. Now, there are some things offensively that we do need to fix and worry about as well, but we'll get to that later, right? Defense has my unfiltered attention. They snuck it through the radar last year because I wasn't paying attention because Shoddy was just knocking home runs over the fence with all these offensive hires. Defense, every coach, I'm telling y'all, CFO gang, every coach that we hire on that defensive side of the ball will get a full breakdown from me. Wait, who's your man's? Where he come from? What position he coach? What's his philosophy? How has his units improved? I'm not letting, no. Every defensive coach that we bring in on this channel, y'all gonna get a full breakdown from me. Because Eberflus snuck a lot of people in the party. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever had a house party at your house, and all of a sudden there's some people in your house? He's like, man, who you came with, bro? Who you know? Oh, I know James and them. James who? Oh, James. Hey, bro, who did you come with, dog? Because you got 2 cups right now. I didn't see you go back and forth at the keg. Who you come with? I don't know you, dog. All right. So I'm gonna need you to hand me that red cup and go find James and tell James come holler at me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it needs to be when it comes to defensive coordinators and our defensive staff this year. We gotta look at everybody, right? You can't have no loose cannons. You can't have no liabilities. Too much at risk. This season went to waste, y'all. This season went to waste. We were far too talented to have this season go to waste for nothing. Dak Prescott and George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams all played their ass off for nothing. The players got to know what they're doing and they were supposed to be and know where to be asked what to do. Let me slow that down. The players got to know what they're doing and where they're supposed to be and know what they're asked to do. Okay, got it. Yeah. Simplicity. And that is the one thing that maybe it's a Dan Quinn residual effect, right? Dan Quinn got guys. I don't want you to think. I just want you to react. See ball, get ball. We'll worry about the rest later. You know? See ball, get ball. We'll worry about the rest later, right? There was no thinking. Because remember, prior to Dan Quinn, you had Mike Nolan, and that defense was confusing us all. Get out. Well, X is saying that the next defensive coordinator is going to have to carry Shoddy and Dak. Yeah. X is going to X, right? Yeah, just know your role. Know your role, right? There was too much confusion. And here's the crazy part. Here's the saddest part about the confusion when it comes to our Cowboys defense this year. It was the veterans. It was the veterans. The people who've been here. Malik and Trayvon, why are y'all confused? Right? Y'all been here. I can see if it was Revel and, like, y'all been here. Why is there a lack of communication amongst our veteran guys who've been here? Right? That was very disappointing to me. I got to get off that platform. Hey, man. It just is what it is. If you see right now, I'm not streaming on that platform. I'm kind of just, I've outgrown it. Right? I think I've done everything I've needed to do on that app, man. I always told myself to get off of it and I keep every year. I said, you know what? It's time. It's been time, right? Like I said, I love intimate settings, Angry, where I can just talk to my people in peace and you guys can talk back in peace, right? It shouldn't be that if 2189 Peanut has an idea and we're having a conversation, I shouldn't have 15,000 people jumping into our conversation, ruining it, right? Messing up the vibe, right? We're having a conversation. Twitter feels like, imagine me and you angry at the bar and we're sitting down watching the game, talking about the game, and then 8 randoms just come up and pull up onto our table and start talking about what we wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, I didn't at you. I didn't ask you. I didn't do anything, bro. I'm talking to my people on my platform. They asked me to post a mock, right? So why are you telling me about posting my mock when my people asked me to poke a mock? You know what I'm saying? I really felt like they were sandbagging to get him gone a while ago. I really didn't see fight. Even with all the injuries that we had last year under Mike Zimmer, that team fought. That team fought to the point where we were telling them, yo, chill, right? Chill. I remember I had a conversation with Micah and he was like, yo, Tuck, when I get back, man, it's up. It's up. You know what I'm saying? When I get back healthy, defense going to turn up. And I was like, hey, bro, if you want to, you ain't got to turn up because, there's some players in this draft. And if we get a top 10 pick, I'm cool with it. He was like, nah, bro, when I get back, we're turning up. I said, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, damn, bro, they turning up with Cooper Rush at quarterback. Chill. All right. Beat Tampa. I'm like, all right, cool. Not one. I can go on social media and search it right now. I haven't seen one, hey man, like maybe like Eberflus holding a bag or showing them a drill and it's like, thank you, coach, or there's not one single post from any Cowboys player about Matt Eberflus being fired. Not one. Hey, coach, thanks for the memories, man. It sucks that, things didn't go well. We really tried to get things done. It's just like, that's what's up. That's what's up. I haven't seen one post. I haven't seen one post of a player supporting Matt Eberflus since camp. That's when everybody's supporting everything in camp. Since camp. That's alarming. That's alarming. You can't find, people have tried to AI it. You can't find one post of a player defensively speaking highly about their defensive coordinator. That's crazy. That's everything that you need to know. That's everything that you need to know. Not one. And typically, you're going to have a few Kool-Aid guys, that just drink the Cowboys Kool-Aid regardless, right? Shotty had his interview and people kind of go to the presser, right? But like, you're going to find a few Kool-Aid guys. You can't find one single player that's speaking highly or saying, dang, coach, sorry we let you down. That says everything that you need to know. I don't know if Jack Sanborn has a Twitter or not. Right? Yeah. Not even Kenneth Murray. Not even Kenneth Murray. And Kenneth Murray got snaps and was a starter in the NFL strictly due to Matt Eberflus. And he ain't even say, appreciate you, coach. Thank you for believing in me. It said Quinn Williams said he's excited to be in Dallas after firing Eberflus. That's alarming. Yeah, he's probably like, okay, I made the right decision now. You know what I'm saying? The crazy part is like, dang, Trayvon, if you would have just got back on the plane, you'd have been safe right now, possibly. You know what I'm saying? There is nobody causing a stir. Here's how Matt Eberflus had to go. You guys know our community. Y'all know our Cowboys space. Y'all know typically there's content creators or media, whoever, that like to, I guess, carry the waters, that they say, right? The little water carry buckets of water, right? Water carriers. I haven't seen one of them that was like, y'all just hating on Eberflus. He's really not that bad, right? He should stay. It's actually the players. I haven't seen like just one. I haven't seen one media member or content creator be like, yo, Eberflus, you guys are just being negative. No, we were united across the board on Matt Eberflus being a horrific defensive coordinator. Right? That's how you know you're bad. Because there's people that will defend Mozzie Smith, and there's people who are against Mozzie Smith, right? There's people who defend Trayvon Diggs against Trayvon Diggs. There's people who defend Kenneth Murray against Kenneth Murray, right? There's people who defend, so-and-so and so-and-so. Dak Prescott lovers, Dak Prescott haters, right? Javonte Williams, like Jada, like you have all this divide amongst Cowboys fans, but when it came to Matt Eberflus got to go, we are the world. We are the children. We was all united. You know what I'm saying? We were all united on one front. You got to go. Got to go. Got to go. Got to go. So I think the Cowboys made a great decision on moving on from him. It was past due, right? It was past due. He had to go, right? I would have got rid of him. Raheem Morris actually was on a 4-game winning streak. And as soon as he stepped down off the podium, they said, hey, bro, let me holler at you real quick. Right? He got fired right off the podium after he won 4 games in a row, right? Matt Eberflus got a day. You know what I'm saying? But the Cowboys made the right decision by letting him go. Now we have to go out there and find a guy who fits the mold, right? And find a guy that's going to be here for a little bit. Find a guy, right? Don't find me a bridge guy that, okay, I'm going to come to Dallas, get this defense popping, and after I get them popping, I'm trying to get to Pittsburgh. No. He ain't got going to be here for a while. 2 to 3 year plan. Because he had to create this identity and continuity, right? And I can say this now because, hell, gone, right? But that was some of the frustration on the defensive side of the ball, right? Is that the Dallas Cowboys this past offseason, a lot of the decisions they made, whether it came with Brian Schottenheimer and moving on from so-and-so, right, was all about keeping the continuity of the offense together, right? We want to hire Shotty because he's able to keep the language the same for Dak, right? Or same for Dak, or same for the offense, right? You want to keep the continuity, you want to keep the language, right? Offense. When it came to the defense, it's like, y'all be straight. Y'all be good. Y'all be all right. Right? So it was like the defense was just like the stepchild of the organization. Because remember, Mike Zimmer and his staff were all on 1-year deals. You moved on from Dan Quinn and gave the entire defensive staff just 1-year deals. So it's time that defense really becomes a focus here. I know offense sells tickets. I know it's exciting. That's where all the someone said bring back Nolan Helton. No. Right? I don't want no Mike Nolan. I don't want no Wade Phillips. I don't want no Rex Ryans. I don't want none of that. No, none of that. Absolutely not. Hell no. Right? But it's time to make defense a focal point, right? From free agency acquisitions to the draft. It doesn't have to be every draft pick is a defensive player, because that's what some people are saying. Like, you pick one offensive lineman in the 4th round or 5th round and people freak out, right? Or I picked a wide receiver in the 6th and people are like, why are you getting a wide receiver? Special teams, bro. All right. But yeah, a complete team sells tickets too as well. Here's the thing. Jerry Jones, you don't have to sell tickets. No Dave Campo either, right? We'll do that. You know what I'm saying? We'll do that. Cowboys fans will buy rain, sleet, or snow. You ain't even got to sell it to us no more. Like, it's an automatic selling machine. Like, you don't have to sell Cowboys fans to come to games. They do it regardless. People literally trample over each other to get the best view, right? Winning games sells tickets, right? It's time to put together a complete NFL roster, right? And it doesn't have to all be big names, right? It doesn't have to be 1st-round draft picks, right? But you have to have an identity to know what you're looking for. Like, sometimes even when I'm doing draft coverage, right? When it comes to like the Steelers or the Ravens, there's certain players that you can see that looks like a Steeler, that looks like a Raven. Like, I can tell you right now, Anthony Hill Jr. looks like a Raven. He looks like a Steeler. He looks like another team. I'm not going to say it, right? Because I don't want that, put that evil out there. But he just looks like, right? You can look at those players and just see it, right? Because they have a mold of what they're trying to have their organization look like from top to bottom, offensively and defensively. Then it's easy to go out there and go grocery shopping. Y'all ever go grocery shopping when you don't know what you want? You're just hungry. And all of a sudden you come home with French onion dip and Gushers and some Lay's, some bologna, tuna, right? And you've just been grabbing stuff because you don't even know, you don't have a grocery list because you don't have no identity, right? It's different where you map out, okay, I need my protein. This is what I need. Boom, 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 boom. You go to the grocery store, you execute. I ain't putting that out there, dog. I am not putting that out there. Nope. Nuh-uh. Don't put that evil on me. But yeah, when you know what you want, right? Sushi. Have sushi. Right. You just grab some stuff. And all of a sudden you spend $300 at the grocery store and then you end up door dashing because you just grab some stuff you really even need to grab, right? So that's what I'm saying. Build an identity. Once you get your defensive coordinator, Shotty, this is what we want our team to look like offensively, defensively. All right. And then go grocery shopping. And then coach those guys up. There was nobody being coached up this past year. A lot of people getting coached down. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Going back to Madden, right? Everybody had the down arrow next to their name, right? And their stats. Right? I need some coach that can coach up, right? Get these guys motivated. Get these guys playing with swagger. Get these guys playing with confidence, right? You have a foundation. You have Kenny Clark, Osa, Quentin Williams, Donovan, possibly Clowney returning, Overshown. All right. That's 6 defensive pieces right there. I mean, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? That's 6 quality defensive pieces, right? You want to toss in Deron Bland or Revel or whatever, feel free, right? But that's 6 quality defensive pieces you can get by with. That's 6. That's a hell of a good head start. You should be able to get by with. All right. So find a guy that can take that to the ultimate level. But today, the Dallas Cowboys did a phenomenal job by finally just saying, you got to go, bro. You got to go. You got to go. But you got to take a closer look at Osa. I mean, I try to get people to take a closer look at Osa, but they don't want to take a closer look. I think Osa will be okay, right? I think Osa will be okay because now you have other guys around him, right, to kind of help with that. I just think that Osa wasn't an entree. I think he's more of a side dish, right, which is perfectly fine, right? But I think people really don't understand how much easier made light for other players, right? I don't think they did that. So I'm on a mission to find me another Just drop the film session on Ruben Bain Jr. Check that out right on the channel. Probably do David Bailey tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, right? Then I'll do CJ Allen, Anthony Hill, probably. No, I'm gonna do it Friday. I'm gonna be in Vegas Friday. I'm not doing shit Friday. But yeah. So probably got those 2 dropping. More draft content as we'll gear up, man. And yeah, we got a lot of discussion to talk about. So, like I said, y'all, now is the open opportunity to really voice your opinions, right? So whether you're on Twitter, TikTok, go get Caleb Downs. There's a possibility, y'all. Like I said, when it comes to Caleb Downs, what you're gonna have to do, right? Here's your get Caleb Downs to 12 plan. All right. Give me all the sauce, right? 1, there's going to be people in narratives that you don't draft a safety that high because of positional value, right? And they're going to talk about Derwin James, right? They're going to talk about Tyler Newman. They're going to talk about Brian Branch. They're going to talk about, other phenomenal safeties that were drafted not in the top 10. So when you guys see those posts or those tweets or those Instagrams or those TikToks, you reshare that. Like, pump it up. Pump it up. Joe Budden, pump it up, right? Start getting that narrative out there that, yeah, man, you don't draft safeties that high, okay? 2, if he shows any drawbacks in athleticism at the combines, right? Whether it's with his 40, shuttle, anything of that nature, that could help. And 3, even though I don't want to wish this on a player, but if there's any undisclosed injury history that we just happen to find out at the combine as well, right? Those would probably be your 3 Hail Marys. But to be honest with you guys, he's out of there. He's out of there. I mean, I would love to have Caleb Downs. I'll tell y'all this. If he does slide to 12 and we pass on him, I'm coming unglued. But you guys know where Caleb Downs is going. You already know. You already know. Tell me where Caleb Downs is going in the draft. You already know. And he gonna have that boy playing linebacker. Yeah, I'm playing linebacker. Dan Quinn is not gonna let Caleb Downs slide past him, bro. No, sir. No, sir. Yeah. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. Dan Quinn ain't letting that slide. Yeah, and the film don't lie with him. Like, bro, like like I said yesterday, he's my number 1 prospect. Like, I've been waiting to talk about this kid for years, man. Like, I would have drafted him when he was back at Alabama. He's that good. Like, you guys know how much I love his brother. Like, I love his brother. I loved his brother, Josh Downs, man. Still do, man. I love me some Josh Downs. And then it was crazy how much I love Josh Downs. I started looking at his brother because his brother was in his interviews and stuff. And I said, well, what is this? There's 2 of y'all? There's 2 of y'all? Man. You know, he's just too good to pass up on, right? So yeah, so there's gonna be a cluster. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? No. You're gonna need, I don't think you're gonna need Dante Moore to get there and push, right? Mendoza will probably go 1. I'm just not seeing, you need some offense. Like, you're going to need somebody because if you're even a scout with half a brain, it's your first day on the job, right? He should be your first defensive player on every board. Every board. No matter who, right? Whether it's Ruben Bain, Kendrick Falk, Arville Reese, Sonny Styles, right? It doesn't matter. He should be your clear number 1 defensive player on the board. There's no corners. McCoy probably won't do it, depending on his injury. Not Mansour. Like, there's nobody that's really going to push him off that spot. And the offensive draft isn't that heavy. It's not very wide receiver heavy, outside of Jordan Tyson and Malachi. No running backs. You're probably going to have Love be the only first-round running back this year, right? Sadiq will probably be your only first-round tight end. So it's not going to be a lot to push him to us. Now, you could trade up and go get him if you want him that bad, but knowing the Cowboys, yeah, McCoy, for us, I'm personally a no, right? Ain't instant impact. So, because you think about McCoy, even if you think about it from a corner standpoint, corners have been sliding And then you saw what happened to I forgot where you went to. Benjamin Morrison. Remember the corner last year out of Notre Dame, who he was like the quote unquote favorite coming into the draft last year, and he had the injury, and so he slid. I forgot what round he slid to, but Benjamin Morrison slid. You saw how far Quinyon Mitchell slid. Devin Witherspoon, he was a lock, right? I really liked this film, but like corners get pushed back. So even with McCoy and the injury, he's probably going to be pushed back further unless his medicals check all the way out. But yeah. Then you also have it with Will Johnson to the Cardinals. Look at me vomiting draft all over the timeline, man. But y'all know what we'll do. We'll definitely dive into that and get y'all geared up for the draft. Maybe tomorrow night. Oh, no, we're doing cover 3. So we'll probably do a cover 3 mock. I'll talk to the guys. Maybe we'll do a mock tomorrow for y'all. It's a pretty little easy mock to do. We're running through a mock draft. I'll give you guys some players to watch to start scouting on CFO Sports. What we're going to do when I get back from Vegas, if I survive for my birthday weekend, we're going to start going live, and I'm going to let y'all pick a player, random player, spin a wheel, do whatever, and we're going to sit back, watch the film, and I'm going to let you guys do the scouting. I might even pull a few of you guys on the show. So show your camera, microphone. Got to come on cam, right? Show your camera. Come on. And I'm going to let you guys break down the film, and I'm going to sit back and chill and let y'all drive, man. So we'll do that. Okay, so Benjamin Morrison with the Tampa Bay. All right, cool. Is that second round? I forget, man. I always tell people the draft is like studying for a major test. I study for 4 to 5 months. And once the test is done, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's on to the next class, right? But yeah, I think he went to Tampa Bay. I forgot what round. It was the second round, but I know he slipped because of the injury. Because when I was at the combine, he was the last player to come out to the podium because they kept him in the back for medicals for the longest, right? And sometimes they'll do that, right? So the players get kept back for a long time because they'll say like, oh, Benjamin Morrison will be at the podium at 10 a.m., right? So all the people that want to speak to Benjamin Morrison, they'll be waiting around. All of a sudden, it was like 2 p.m. before Benjamin Morrison came out. It was like because they was back there quadruple checking those medicals and they kept him back, right? So sometimes that's an easy tell. I can tell when a player's going to slide because they're hammering away on those medicals. So he went second round. So yeah, Benjamin Morrison. So there could be a situation where McCoy slides, but we'll see. We'll get to that point, man. We have a lot of work to do as we gear up for the draft in April. Not sure if I'm going to go to the draft in Pittsburgh, or I'm thinking about talking to the fellas like Law and Big and all them, and maybe hosting a big ass draft party in Dallas, man. I want to do it like a big ass draft party in Dallas, bottle service. Y'all all pull up. You sit down and watch the first 2 days of the draft, kind of go crazy, have some fun. Probably want to do it that way. Let me text Law here in a second. I'll ask him about that. But I think I want to do it that way because I've been to the draft, and the draft is cool, but it's like, I mean, I've done it. You know what I'm saying? So like maybe I'll do something different. But yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop, man. So I appreciate you all, man. If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, CFO Sports. Let's run it up. Hit those likes, man. That's how you let the algorithm know that Cowboys fans care about this quality of content. Salute to Instagram. You're on Instagram. Give me a follow at JTuck151. TikTok, I appreciate y'all. Hit the buttons. I know some of y'all maybe have gave me gifts. Let me see if I missed any gifts. If not, if I missed your gift and give you a shout out, man, I'll definitely DM you if you gave me a gift, man. But I'm gonna go through all these comments, right? But I appreciate y'all on TikTok, man. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Got a lot of work to do. Like I said, we're gonna go live a lot more often tomorrow night. Cover 3 with my brothers, DMV and CFT. Y'all know how we do. Maybe a little mock draft, and then we'll gear up and hopefully find out who the Dallas Cowboys hire as a defensive coordinator, man. I want everyone to stay safe, stay blessed, stay encouraged. And Matt Eberflus, see you later. Peace. This video is brought to you by Sleeper, the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And right now, Sleeper is doing something crazy, unimaginable. Yes, Sleeper right now is giving you a free $20. Yep, free. All you have to do is be a new subscriber and download Sleeper, and Sleeper will give you $20 in your account to play your daily fantasy pick. So if you want to pick Dak Prescott to go over his passing yards because he's playing at an MVP level, just use Sleeper. And also, if you want to make a deposit, use the code CFO. Sleeper will match 100% up to $100. So download Sleeper, get your free $20 to play daily fantasy sports, and also use the code CFO to get 100% up to $100 on your match. And let's go get this money, gang.